Hey guys, welcome back to the BuzWeaver channel. And in our top stories, if not breaking news here on a Saturday for August the 5th, very interesting turn of events happening right now. As we see here from Ground News, aggregated by Ground, and then from The Hill, DOJ prosecutors request protective order after Trump arraignment, citing social media threats. Ladies and gentlemen, let me just say this right at the beginning of this video. If you know anyone who is continuing to follow the narrative of what the left is pushing and what the establishment is pushing, I want them to hear this very clearly. So be sure to share this and provide your comments. Our country, our Department of Justice, as of this time, it should be clear to anyone and everyone that these individuals, along with Democrats, are the ones who are trying to define what is or isn't incitement. They are deciding what is or isn't executive privilege. They are deciding what should or should not be used in courts, how law should be interpreted. These individuals have hijacked our institutions, have taken them under their control, and they're defining all the terms. It is like a group of referees betting on who's going to win the game. They have total and complete control of our institutions. They feel like they can define the terms and that they can prosecute, that they can pursue anyone, and while they're doing that, deny those individuals of their own personal liberties. It's absolutely extraordinary. So, as I just mentioned, Justice Department Special Counsel Jack Smith appealed to the federal judge overseeing former President Trump's election fraud case Friday evening to issue a protective order for evidence citing social media threats. Now, you should be very familiar with this because we experienced this same thing on social media with Twitter. Now, you may recall, I'm going to go back to this tweet because many of you may not have seen it. If this is your first time, welcome to the channel. From Barry Weiss, less than 90 minutes after Twitter employees had determined that Trump's tweets were not in violation of Twitter policy. In other words, the few people at Twitter that had levels of common sense and rationale realized that hyperbole is a thing. It's a thing that we use in language. It allows people to make certain statements that aren't necessarily completely and totally factual, or that they are a direct message or call to action. Vijay Gotti, Twitter's head of legal policy and trust, asked whether it could, in fact, be coded incitement to further violence. So according to Vijay Gotti, according to the establishment, according to Democrats, they can change language, they can change meaning, they can change definitions to suit their narrative. So for her to be able to ban Trump from Twitter, she had to create the idea that that Trump was somehow sending out some coded information, some ambiguous type of influential brainwashing of some sort. It's absolutely absurd. Now, I want everyone to take a listen to this.
Michigan lawmaker doubling down on her controversial comments targeting Trump supporters.
This is just a warning to you Trumpers. Be careful. Walk lightly. We ain't playing with you. Enough of the shenanigans. Enough is enough.
All right, now I'm not going to play the whole entire thing, but I think the message is clear here. As I just said, this is Cynthia Johnson, a representative from Michigan, I believe, is where she's a rep. See, these individuals can get away with it. You know why? Because they're in control. When you're in control, you are able to make these sorts of statements. You're able to do these things because, of course, you're not going to be held accountable by your own party. Congressional leaders criticized Maxine Waters for urging confrontation. You guys remember this, right? Senior California Democrat lawmaker added some fresh fuel to the raging debate over civility and politics with a call for public confrontations with Trump's administration officials. So she's calling on people to get in the face of others. So Congresswoman Maxine Waters, an extraordinarily low IQ person, has become, together with Nancy Pelosi, the face of the Democrat Party. She has just called for harm to supporters, of which there are many, of Make America Great Again movement. Be careful what you wish for, Maxine. So apparently these people can make threats, and not to mention just the overall arching thoughts here. For example, Maria Shriver, wife of Arnold Schwarzenegger and former, what is she, NBC correspondent? Of course, she worked for the mainstream media at one time. Open-minded journalist. Yeah, sure. She says, but here we are. So you say you want revolution? Well, we have one right here, right now. Okay, obviously, interpret things however you want to interpret it. But you see, when you hold the power over the institutions, you're the one who decides what is going to get out there, how things should or shouldn't be interpreted. And that's exactly what the establishment and Democrats are doing. They're holding all of the power. Here is Daniel Felder. You know, here's an attorney, law grad, whatever. And then he had some kind of snarky comment on his profile there. I was trying to see what it was. Grad founder, Florida AG, and Chief DeSantis tormentor. Okay, so he's a tormentor. So he's able to torment the AG or the Republican Party as well as DeSantis. But that's totally fine. And he's also calling for revolution. So obviously that's totally fine. And of course, the chief right now, our commander-in-chief, the establishment uniparty surrogate president, Joe Biden, warns Trump and his allies are a threat to the foundations of our republic. Is that right? When you hear Democrats scream threat to democracy, what they mean is anyone who opposes them, anyone who does not agree with them, anyone who is not going to be on their side, you're the threat. You're the opposition. Because they're holding the power. So if you don't agree with them, they're going to go after you with the full weight of their laws. They're authoritarian. And that's basically what their democracy is, a democracy of authoritarianism. President Joe Biden warned Thursday night that equality and democracy are under assault. Really? Yeah. I think if you don't agree with them, you're going to be under assault. In the U.S., and he sounded an alarm about his predecessor, Donald Trump, and MAGA Republicans, or MAGA Republican, adherents labeling them an extremist threat to the nation and its future. So who's trying to incite? Who's trying to divide? Think of the party of the Democrats who label, who categorize, who stereotype. They're the ones dividing because they're the ones creating the labels. They're the ones creating the categories. They're the ones creating the stereotyping. They're the ones asking for particular individual rights over other individuals. So in other words, their standard for equality means that one group of people get lifted up while another group of people get pushed down. And so when you're in control, when you have the power, you know, you can define things. So here we see here back in May, or what we call May 29th, the day that the obviously a number of different protesters were there in D.C. protesting what happened in Minneapolis. I mean, they breached the fencing there at the White House. They set fires. They did obviously tons of property damage. Of course, they just basically creating a nuisance of themselves. And then, of course, there are plenty of videos of all this going on. And, of course, all of what is going on because, of course, here Joe Biden was suggesting that at one time white supremacy was the number one issue. And as you can see, all the different things they're saying. So apparently none of this is incitement, ladies and gentlemen. You know, you burn the flag, you set fires to the grass, you set fires to the St. Joseph Church. And, of course, they mocked Trump because the Secret Service and others moved him into the secret bunker because of all this protesting, and they mocked Trump for having been sent to the bunker, you know, as though he were afraid of all of these particular protesters. But that was the move that the authorities at the time did for him. And so, you see, ladies and gentlemen, this is what I'm trying to tell you. Right now, these individuals in D.C. are so drunk on power right now that they will reach this level where they want to redefine everything and then suggest that they have to take additional measures because of what President Trump is saying, because they are terrified of influence. They're terrified of anyone who doesn't listen to them. They're terrified of anyone who does not follow their instructions. They're terrified of anyone who does not follow their narrative. I want to thank all you guys for your continued support. Be sure to like and share this video, as well as your comments are always welcome. And I'll see all you guys in the next video.